Welcome to an episode of Chat Sports Talk. You know, my name's Chat Tyrell Sports. Hey, welcome to my NHL Mid-Season Report Card. Yes, I have been lacking in providing NHL update videos. I normally do a monthly update, but I haven't done anything since my preseason picks where I had picked Edmonton over Carolina in 7. See what that turns out. Right now, they're on pace to possibly get there because they're both right now looking to be in the playoffs. Edmonton's struggling a little bit more than I really thought they would. And there's been a few surprises this NHL season that I didn't think would be there just yet. I might have foresaw the coming of a couple teams coming a bit early. They're not in the playoff hunt as of now, but they're still a very decent squad in essence. So let's go ahead and get back at the NHL swing of things with this report card. Where did teams stack up? Where do my beloved Blackhawks go? You won't be too surprised where I put them. But before I get into all that, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, especially the content provider. Really please you two guys for help out and shout out. You also subscribe. Love you guys review my work, and I love you all for doing that. Now, many of you subscribe. This costs you a dime. Helps me provide more time value for you. Well, let's just start with the failing grade, shall we? These are all the franchises that have 40 or less points thus far this NHL season. On average, the NHL teams have played 50 games thus far. Right now, they're in their all-star break, as the star players head down to South Beach to participate in skills and the All-Star Challenge. And so, even though the Washington Capitals have the most games played thus far this season, 53. There's a handful of others at 48, so their about average is about 50, probably close to 51. Right now, the worst team in the league is the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, for them, I think it's a little bit more surprising because of the aspect of some of the talent they have on this team. They have yet to really put anything together to really challenge anyone, really. They're in a loaded Metro division, so that probably does hamper them a bit. But the fact that just can't seem to get any recognition going, they'll get a win and then go on like a 3-game losing slide and get a win. They just can't get back-to-back games. I don't know if it's just bad coaching with this franchise or why they're not doing as well. Because they should have the talent there. They got Johnny Gaudreau, who was a excellent goal scorer. Right now, he leads the team overall with 49 points. Patrick Laine, definitely another quality player. Hasn't really produced much. He's only had 31 points this season. Matthew Oliver is another decent individual as well, even though he's racked up 70 penalty minutes, but he's probably an enforcer you want to have on that team. But I think it's the defense and goaltending has really let them down, which is going to be an aspect for a lot of franchises on here. When you average allowing almost 4 goals a game, that puts a lot of pressure on the offense and allows the opposing defense to kind of concentrate on your 2 big stars. Gaudreau has produced at least some scoring opportunities for the Blue Jackets. They have yet to really, like I said, sustain themselves, and they're in a loaded Met, so it makes it a little bit difficult for them to climb out. Right ahead of them, Chicago. They win this offseason, start trading away certain players, like getting rid of the brink. I think was a bad idea for them. Looking at Taves and Kane, their production has significantly declined with them. So I don't know how much trade value they have right now. I think they probably want to stay with the Blackhawks and finish out their careers in Chicago. And the big highlight they have is Max Domi with his 14 goals and 35 points. He's really the focal point of this franchise. But once again, it is the defense and the goaltending has really let them down in a lot of key games. If you looked at some of their matches, towards the end, right before the break, they actually had a nice, good streak going. We had 7 games. They've won out of the past 11. So at least they have that. They have highlights where they go on great runs and then they just collapse. I mean, before that run, they had a 5-game losing streak and then just losing games left, right. Head of them's Anaheim. It was a bit of a shock for me to have Anaheim this low. I figured them a little bit higher to start the season. Haven't really produced much. I think most of them, just like the same thing's been falling on all these bottom dwellers right now, is goaltending and defense. You can't really sustain yourself if you can't really get anything going. I mean, Zegras is the focal point for the Flying V, if you remember the Mighty Ducks movie. And Troy Terry is another focal point as well with his 29 assists. But once again, they allow 4 goals a game, but only getting by 2.5. You're not going to win many games that way. Once again, it's the defense that's not helping them whatsoever. I mean, they did finish the before going to break a little bit strong. Winners of 4 of the last 5. So they at least have that one going for them. But in that loaded Pacific, if they can't find ways to move up, there's going to be some issues for them. And finish off my failing grades, Arizona Coyotes. They're actually done some decent things recently, so things might look like they're heading in the right direction, but I don't know this franchise. They've had many issues paying. Right now, they're in the most ridiculous arena arrangement ever. I mean, they're playing in arenas that's suitable for SPHL or the Federal Hockey League or the junior leagues up in Canada. I mean, this is not an NHL level franchise right now. And why Bettman still keeps them down there instead of having them move out to other areas that can be a little bit more profitable, like maybe Kansas City or Hamilton or Portland or Houston. I'm not going to dive too much into the Coyotes. They're just a mess of a franchise, but not a complete hot mess, just a mess. Now the D grades, I mean, they're still below average. These teams, a lot of them should have been a lot higher, I think, and they're just struggling immensely. They average between 49 and 41 points. They'll start off with the San Jose Sharks. Now the Sharks right now haven't really done much to really facilitate much. I mean, they got rid of all their stars basically, so they're kind of rebuilding anyways. But they cannot get anything sustained. I'm feeling this franchise will probably fall further down. If Anaheim can pull things in the right direction, they'll get past San Jose. The only highlight they got is Erik Karlsson. But this man cannot keep a franchise on his back. He can't carry him. He didn't do it in Ottawa. He's not going to do it in San Jose. I mean, but at least they're a little bit closer in terms of their games. I mean, they score 3 goals, but they average, giving up 3 3/4 goals. Sorry. And they definitely can kill the penalty. They just had bad luck, I think, with this group. Above them, I think it's a team that I had a little bit higher hopes for than where they're currently at, the Vancouver Canucks. Now, they've gone through a major overhaul, but they have had a head coaching change that's really shook the hockey world in terms of that happening. And then they ended up trading Horvat over to the Islanders. So definitely some question marks with where this team is going. But Pedersen is definitely one of the highlights this franchise has. Boudreau being fired, definitely. But only after 13 months. I mean, so he had a quick turnaround, which means there's a lot of party issues going on there. And with Pedersen and Hughes as being another huge factor, But once again, it's goaltending. It's kind of on the down, almost coughing up 4 goals compared to the 3 in the third that they're scoring. Penalty kills definitely down, only a 65% average. Uh, you know, it's coaching, I think, is the main thing with this franchise for this team to really move forward. So we'll see how this one kind of pans out. Next one's Montreal. Another team on the rebuild. Not going to spend too much time with these guys. I didn't respect a lot of them to begin with. Anyhow, I had them a lot lower. So we'll see if the season progresses, if that continues. And the one getting the D plus rating is a team I didn't expect to really see down here. It's the St. Louis Blues. Right now, they're just not having a fun time right now. Heading towards a break, they're losers of the last 5 games. And this is not something I really thought they would be. And I thought they had enough talent for them to make a nice, decent run before, comping that up. Technically, they're losers of the last 6, my bad. And then 8 of the last 10. So they're definitely not, and they kind of backed in this all-star break and not doing anything. Kyrou is, the focal point for this team with 47 points, 23 goals. Robert Thomas has 31 assists. So definitely a thing you look at, but for some reason, goaltending is just another thing that's kind of killing them. Over 3.5 average to their 3 goals. And then only 76% penalty kills. Doesn't really help matters much. But having Tarasenko not really score a lot, I think will kind of hamper things. But of course, I think injuries has really kind of play a factor in that aspect. And Brandon Saad and another one has not really produced a lot either. But of course, he's towards the end of his career, so things are a little bit different in his aspect. All right, next come up is the C grades. These are kind of right in the middle of the pack. I think a lot of these teams are in the cusp of doing good things. Some of them might be just overstretching their current situation and being in here. Others I had a lot of high hopes for. So let's go ahead and go with Detroit. Now, Detroit is definitely a franchise that's moving in a direction where they're going to be back to their former glory. I had them a lot higher in my preseason poll, or my preseason prediction video. But I had them like one of the last teams to get into the dance. So that's still a current possibility. And with the Red Wings, but they got a loaded group in front of them. I mean, they're in the Atlantic. I mean, the only saving grace they have is same division as Montreal, so they could beat them up quite a bit. But Larkin is the focal point in this franchise right now with 43 points scored. Overall, they're decent in terms of goal scoring, coughing up by 3.25, by only scoring 3. So there's games where they can actually edge out players and whatnot. Last year, they finished with 74 points overall. They're already at the 50 already, so they're on pace to far exceed that last season. Right above them, the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, with these guys, it's hard to kind of really determine which version of the Flyers you're going to get. It's a unique bunch of guys that go out there on the ice. I mean, there's certain games where they just go out and just hammer you, and there's other games that just lay flat. Right now, they're on the spot of laying flat. Winner of 2 of the last 5. So they're not doing very well in terms of that aspect, but they had a nice run where they ended up going, winning 9 of 10 games. So they have spots where they can definitely bully you, and there's spots where they like to get bullied. Conchi is their focal point, 49 points overall. Kevin Hayes is right there with him with 30 assists. So there's definitely a nice 1-2 punch there. They need to probably get a little bit more in the offensive aspect. So right now they score about 2.75 by coughing up a little over 3. Their power play is atrocious, only 16% accuracy. So definitely got to work on the special teams. that could really help with their offense. Above them, I got the Iowa Senators, another one I had high expectations for because of all the offseason moves they did. So far, that has not really materialized for the Senators. But this is definitely, I think, a franchise that's looking to move forward and trying to create something up there and get the Senators back into the postseason, something they haven't done in quite a while. Brady Tkachuk is the focal point. They do have to brink it with them. Tim Stützle is another key aspect. He has 22 goals. He has more goals than Tkachuk. So they have a nice young core they're building around. I think that's what they really need to do to focus forward. I mean, they got one of the best kills in the hockey league. Slightly over 80%. Almost 3.25 goals coughed up to 3 goals scored. I mean, it's just. I mean, even Claude Giroux, I forgot about mentioning that one. I mean, they got the talent on the offense to really light up the lamp. They haven't done it yet. But they're definitely moving in the right direction. The Winners won 5 of the last 7 games heading to the break. But one team I think is a huge disappointment right now, and a lot of fans might give them an F, is the Florida Panthers. They have not lived up to expectations they did last year. I give them a lot of high praise coming in. I even thought they'd repeat as President's Trophy champions. I mean, I really did. I mean, especially when you get, Matthew Tkachuk coming down there, who has 66 points already for him. But nothing is going right. I mean, they're coughing up as many goals as they score, and that is going to hurt you. Your penalty kill is less than 75%. You can't sustain that stuff. If you can't find ways to snap opposing teams, especially on the power play, you're going to find yourself in the hole quickly. And you have to try to battle back up, and you're forcing things and make mistakes and leave your goalie out on the island. But I think this team is talented enough to do this. They can actually, get this thing shipwright corrected. Ahead of them, I got the Nashville Predators. The Preds is just one of these teams that just continues to move, regardless who's in there, who's in the net, who is really hitting people. I mean, Forsberg and Josie are pretty much the 1-2 punch for this team in offense, and they're almost identical in terms of goals allowed and goals scored. I mean, they allow 2.8 when they score almost 2.8. So you got to have a certain amount of bounces, whatnot. They've come through some huge slides, and right now they're on a good streak right now before heading to the break after a 3-game slide. They ended up winning 5 of the last 6. And then the Islanders, I got them above the Predators. For them right now, they're not getting. I mean, they are outscoring their opponents, but not by a lot. The power play is something they got to work on. It's by 15%, so definitely got to work on that one. But they definitely one of the better defensive units out there. 83% penalty kills, so they're hard to score on. They just need a little bit more offense. Now, maybe the trade for Horvat may provide that for them and give them that little extra spark that they definitely need. But the 2 main guys right now for the Islanders is Brock Nelson and Matthew Barzal. Those are the 2 right now. They're leading the charge, but there's definitely players on there that should be scoring more. There are not, and I think that's part of the issues with the Islanders is some players are not quite pulling their weight. Parise has been a pretty disappointing right now with in terms of assisting. I mean, he only has 20 points overall. I think they kind of expect a little bit more out of him. So things like that, getting certain players that you definitely should have been sitting higher, that are not. That's what the Islanders are trying to look for. A surprise I have right now is Buffalo. Right there, 56 points so far this season. Definitely performing the right a whole lot better than I thought they would be doing at this present point in time. Tage Thompson and Ramos Dowlin right now the two focal points for that offense. Dowlin's more the assist maker, and they've actually been outscoring their opponents. Um, the only issue they really have is when they're shorthanded. That's when it kind of cough up a little bit more. I mean, they're only 73% on the penalty kill. So before losing 2 games heading to the All-Star break, they're winners of 5 straight. And the one I put in the C plus range, that's the Calgary Flames. Right now, it's in 5th in the Pacific. Like I said, the Pacific right now is kind of top heavy, and they're only 3 points out from their arch rival. And they've come up with their streaky, and they're extremely streaky. I mean, they'll win a couple games, lose a couple games, win a couple games, lose a couple games. So it's kind of hard to really kind of look at this, but they definitely outscore on average, 3.1 compared to almost a 3. And everything's through Lindholm, who has 45 overall. Kadri coming over for the Avs has the most goals for them. But they got to work on the power play a little bit. It's at 19%. Definitely should get a little bit more offense in there. Defensive-wise, this is probably one of the better teams out there because they're 82% penalty kill. There's just certain breaks here and there just does not go their way. And this is the B grades right here. This is the those are sitting right now in playoff position. If the playoffs start today, these guys will definitely be in. And we'll start off with one I thought will probably be a little bit better than where they're at. It's Pittsburgh Penguins. I mean, you already know the players associated with this franchise, so they're definitely capable of performing a lot more than what they're currently doing. Because right now they're +8s in terms of scoring, but every so often teams have bad days, and that happens. But the last 7 games, they only won 3. But overall, this team has got things going to where they're right where they need to be. They're performing pretty much at the level they need to be. They probably need to get that kick a little bit higher to get a nice push, but Crosby's on pace to have a good season right now. He has 6 points already so far this season, 24 goals. They averaged 3.25 by allowing 3, so they got that one going. 22% on the power play. Maybe they work on that a little bit. A little over 80% penalty kill. So maybe the special teams might tighten that up a bit. But otherwise, the Penguins are in the hunt, and that's all you really ask for. But they're scraping the bottom of the East, and I think that's not a position they really want to be in. The defending champs, the Colorado Avalanche. They're also one of the handful of teams that have had the lowest amount of games played thus far. So that could contribute to their positioning per se. Definitely had a little bit better expectations from them, especially with the McKinnon and Lankinen to be a little bit more the focal point of that one, and they pretty much are. I mean, those are the first 2 right there. It's the penalty kill aspect. I think they kind of need to clean up a bit. Right now, it's at 76%, almost 77%. Now they kill the power play. So I think they work on that one. They can probably eliminate a lot of their issues they have. I mean, they're almost at 25% scoring, but they've had stretches where they'll just lose constantly. So that will kind of play a factor in. Right above them in that Central, they're locked in as a Central 3, while Colorado right now is the Western wild card number 2. It's the Minnesota Wild. Kaprizov. Sorry if I butchered that name. Right now it's the focal point in this team. 59 points overall, 27 goals. Overall, not bad overall in terms of scoring. 3 goals, allowing 2.8. They almost kill by 80% of the time. Score 24% of the time the power plays. So definitely a team that's got themselves in a nice position. Ahead of them, the Washington Capitals. No one's went Washington Senators. Wow. That was an old baseball team. But anyways, Ovechkin, um, who was just scoring along. I mean, number 2 on the list. He could break Gretzky's mark, but he has definitely put himself in a phenomenal position overall. I mean, right now, of course, he's leading, the Capitals in offense. And the fact that he's able to pass Gordie Howe, a testament to his playing ability, his longevity. I mean, you have to be in this league for a very long time to put up such numbers like that. But it's just amazing that he's able to do that. I'm not sure he has much longer playing, but we'll see if he's able to get past Wayne Gretzky in that one. But for the rest of the team, I mean, he is the heart and soul of this Capitals team, and as long as he is doing things he needs to do, the team does things he needs to do. But they need to tighten up a little bit on defense, and I think that's part of the problem a little bit. But they're in a good position, and we'll kind of see how things kind of play out from there. And right above them, Edmonton. Edmonton's performing a little below what I thought they would be at. When you have the dynamic duo of McDavid and Draisaitl, I kind of expect a little bit more out of you. I mean, but between these two, they have 116 points between them. So they're definitely a nice pairing to have with your team to move forward. They just need to clean up some defense. They allow some pretty easy shots, it seems like. And they need to probably get a little bit better play out of the goaltender, because if you don't get a good aspect in terms of, sometimes McDavid or Draisaitl can have an off night, which never really seems to happen, especially for Connor McDavid. But if he's constantly trying to score and trying to take this team on his back to move forward, it makes it a little difficult. But they've had a huge run right at the All-Star break, winning 7 out of the last 8 games. And speaking of Vegas, they backed into this All-Star break, losing 8 out of the past 10 games. So definitely something the guy really look at. But all in all, it's basically where you really think the Knights should be in terms of where they're at. I mean, they scored average of 3 goals, averaging 2.8, scoring 23% of the time in power play, negating 79% of the being shorthanded. The biggest contributor in points is Stevenson with 44. All right, above them is the New York Rangers, sitting there number 3 in the Metro with their 62 points. Pretty much right where I really thought they would be at. Definitely not a team that is going to shock you too much, but they will definitely put a challenge on you. Panarin leads the team at points with 50, but he's not really the high goal scorer right now. That's Zibanejad. He's really taking the point and trying to get them going. Overall, they've kind of ensured that they're right there where they need to be, scoring 3 goals, allowing 2.5. Maybe work a little bit on special plays, special teams, get them up a little bit more, around 21% in the power play percentage, and they prevent by 81% of them. So they're definitely in a good position in terms of that one. And I think just a few other players really need kind of a step up. Adam Fox is another assist machine for him. Right now he has 48 points overall with 38 assists. So right, him and Panarin are right there neck and neck. Trocheck, Nagasco Kreider is another one, both of them in the 30-point range. So right now this team has Get themselves a nice little core going. They get on a good win streak. They will be dangerous. That's the Kings. That's right. The Silver and Black, I think, are back. Right now, they're sitting second in the Pacific Division. So the Pacific Division, I think, is going to be one of these divisions. Once again, is going to beat each other up. I think they're all eerily similar in terms of the aspect. So it's no surprise that everyone's really close together. And with the Kings, they've another one that's kind of just kept their head down and just kind of did what they had to do. Fila right now is the focal point, 53 points overall, but he's more of an assist guy. The one that scores the most is Kempe, who has 22 goals. They definitely need to work on their defense and goaltending. I think it's going to be part of their problem. Right now, they're a little over almost 3.2 goals a game, allowing 3.4, and their penalty kills at 74%. So working on the special teams defense overall, I think that's what's going to be part of the problem with the Kings, and they are very streaky. They'll go on stretches where they just win a bunch of games, and then they'll lose a bunch of games. So consistency is another issue. I think it's going to be a downfall of the Kings if they don't clear that up. But we'll kind of see how things move forward with them. They're right above them, and one I almost put in the A category because they are definitely performing well above expectations. I think a little bit earlier than I thought they will be at as a franchise. That's the Kraken. The Seattle Kraken right now are leading the Pacific Division. Who would have thunk the Kraken would be sitting up here? Right meow. Now, right now, they're technically in a point a tie with the Kings, so let's bear that in mind. And Vegas is right there with them, and not to mention Edmonton. So they're all within 3 points with each other. But Seattle's doing it by committee. There's not one person you can really focus on and just takes away. I mean, you get rid of McCann, that's the league goal scorer. Doesn't mean they're not going to find ways to score. Eberle, his most assists with 28, but Bobrovsky has the most points overall with 39. So you're not going to find a better well-balanced team right now. It's the special teams that they have to work on to really fine point their game. They're only 20% accurate on power plays. They kill by 72% of them, and they're a little over 3.5 goals average compared to 3 goals allowed. So right above them, I got the Winnipeg Jets. Jets themselves sitting there, sitting in second place right now in the Central standings. Only 1 point behind the Dallas Stars. But, the Jets, just one of these teams that just continue to motor on. I mean, they've got the assets to get a nice run going. They finally stopped their slide heading into the All-Star break, but they have lost 5 out of the last 8. But they do more damage with wins. I mean, every so often they'll have a losing streak. I mean, every team goes through that aspect. And right now, this is also another team by committee. You can't stop on one guy. I mean, yeah, if you get rid of Scheifele, yeah, definitely he's a huge goal scorer for them with 31 goals. But they find ways to do it. Connor has a 59 points overall. He has also 24 goals himself. And then Morrissey, of course, with the big assist machine with 43. Overall, I think this team has everything in the right marks. I mean, 2.6 allowed, almost 3.2 scored. Good goal differential, 83% penalty kill, probably one of the best in the league. Scoring 22% of the time. And the team I put in the B+ category, that's the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is just a team that continues to find themselves on top of the league, on top of the standings, year in and year out. So far, the Lightning, they've had 32 regulation wins, only 5 points behind Toronto right now. They're safe at number 3. They got a nice big cushion between them and Buffalo. Won 8 of the past 10 games. Definitely one of these things you got to look at. Brandon Point is right now on point, scoring 29 goals for the Lightning. Well, Kucherov is the big point scorer right now with 72. 53 of those coming from assist. And right now, I kind of go my A range. Right now, I have two teams I put there in the A minus category. Technically, they probably should be in the B range, but they're definitely, I think, performing very well. And one of them is the Dallas Stars. Right now, the Central Division leaders, performing a little bit better than I thought they really would be. I thought this would be Colorado's division. So Dallas is definitely performing well above expectations so far this season. They got a great core of players that they built around, that they're moving forward, and with Jason Robinson leading the team pretty much in all offensive categories for the Stars, kind of takes away things from their other players, which allows them to do other things. Pavelski, 34 assists, really helps them out. I mean, overall, this team is doing exactly what they need to do, scoring 3 in the third by allowing 2.5, 84% in penalty kill, almost 26% on the power play. Even though they backed into the All-Star break, losing the last 3 games. Like I said, teams will have those days where they will. The surprise team, New Jersey Devils. They're also on my A minus squad. I mean, right now they have 32 wins and 68 points as far as the season. I mean, they're still a few games out from Carolina. And a few games up ahead of the Rangers. So they're in a very good position themselves. They struggled a bit in the past 5 games, but they still won 3. I mean, they've had huge winning streaks. Before that, they won 5 straight. So, but they also had a huge losing streak like last month, and then losing 6 in a row. So they are definitely streaky. But this is a team that's on the cups of doing something great. Almost 3.5 scored, allowing almost 2 2/3. Good goal differential. It's the power play that they work on. It's only 20% accurate. Maybe they can work on a few little bit here pieces of there, get it up a couple more percentage points. They killed almost 81% of the power play. So defensively, they're in a good position. Just work a little bit here on the power play, and I think the Devils are just are in the right position. I mean, Jack Hughes is just right now being phenomenal. 33 goals, 64 points. He's the heart and soul of this Devils right now. So I think that's where teams really have to focus on there. Above the Devils, the Toronto Maple Leafs. No surprise here. Toronto always seems to find themselves in there with Tavares and Matthews. That this team will always find themselves up there. It's the postseason that kills them. Right now, 70 points. They're definitely on the cusp of doing phenomenal things. I mean, they're phenomenal at home with 20 wins at home. They're one of the better home teams on this list. And only, 1 of 3 with 20 wins at home. The other one right now being Tampa Bay. There's still one more to account for, and I get to that team in a bit. But with Toronto, yeah, definitely a hard team to really kind of corner and get many losses. I mean, they've had a few, which everyone does. Right about them is my preseason East champion. That's the Carolina Hurricanes. Nothing has changed with this franchise whatsoever. Definitely performing exactly where they need to be. I mean, especially when they had a huge 7-game stretch. They won right before the break. So, and they don't lose that often. Then Carolina, they might want to work on power play, but otherwise, Sebastian Aho is the huge focal point for them with 23 goals. But you can't turn it anyway. I mean, getting the old man Burns over there from San Jose to come over with 27 assists up there. And the A-plus rankings, a team that right now they're on pace to break the most points and break the most wins to win the President's Trophy. That's the Boston Bruins. Right now, 22 wins at home. I mean, you can't go in a Boston and come out with a victory. And it's just phenomenal of what the Bruins have actually done this season that continue to just have their way with the rest of the league. I mean, yeah, they did have that three losses before they finally won Toronto in the first half of the season. But they don't go on many losing streaks. They'll lose a game here, but Pastrnak has really put himself as the focal point for this offense. And he has no quorums with that whatsoever. This team just looks legit. Almost three-quarter goals scored on average by allowing a little over 2. Almost getting 86% of the penalties by scoring on a little over 25% of them. This team right now is the real deal. But there you go. There's my report cards. Do you agree with my grades of the franchises? You think a little bit generous in certain ones and not so much on others? Let me know down in the comments below where you're down there. Is your team doing extremely well? My Blackhawks are exactly where I thought they'd be at the bottom. Is your pick and for to win the Stanley Cup, and they're still alive? Do you think Boston will actually win the President's Trophy and the Stanley Cup if they continue this trajectory that they're currently on? Let me know down below what you down. You can share this video with your friends and family. I know it's a little bit longer, but hey, you always got generate a good hockey buzz. And you can also hit that thumbs up once again. Once you subscribe, make sure you click that bell icon to turn on notifications until next time I post any more content on my channel. And I will see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.